Good morning, students of class 9. Yeah, welcome back to the e-classes. Now we are doing history and today's date is 12th of July 2021. Now we are doing forest society and colonialism. So now here 2.2 we have reached over here. How did forest rules affect cultivation? In our previous class we have learned a lots about the Forest Act and about the Deterrence Brandish who was invited, and a lot of things. Forest Act was implemented in 1865. So now there are altogether 5 points over here. We'll go through this one by one. So how did the forest rule or Forest Act affect cultivation? Number one of the major means main, one of the main impact of colonization was on the practice of shifting cultivation. People used to practice shifting cultivation in the forest, or we can say Sweden agriculture. So it can be said, this shifting cultivation can be said in different ways or in different names. Shifting cultivation, Sweden cultivation, or slash and burn agriculture, or slash and burn cultivation. It's the same thing. You do not have to get confused. Shifting cultivation, Sweden cultivation, and slash and burn agriculture. It's the same thing. People who live in the forest, they used to clear the forest and they used to grow crops for certain periods. And once the fertility of the soil decreases, they will move to another area and they will grow the crops again. They will cut down the trees, burn them, and grow food. So this is called shifting cultivation. Number 2, this is a traditional agricultural practice. So the people living in the forest, the tribal people, or the people living near the forest, this is a traditional agricultural practice in many parts of Asia, Africa, and South America, practically all over the world. So people who live in the forest, not only in India but in Asia, Asian countries, in Sri Lanka, Burma, you can see that in African countries, and even in South America, these people, it's a traditional agricultural practice by the people who live in the forest or nearby. The people who live in the forest or nearby the forest, they practice this kind of agricultural practice. That is called shifting cultivation, or you can say Sweden cultivation, or you can say slash and burn cultivation. Number 3, it has many local names. So this is an English name. It has many local names, such as, you can see few local names: Lading, Lading, Lading in Southeast Asia, Milpa in Central America, Tavi in Africa, and Chena in Sri Lanka. You can see that these countries, in these countries, this kind of shifting cultivation is called by different local names. In number 4, in India, now let's talk about India. In India, Dhaya, Penda, Bewar, Jhum, Podu, Kandad, and Kumri are some of the local terms or names for Sweden agriculture, or you can say slash and burn agriculture, or you can say shifting agriculture. So you can see, by looking at this, we can see that all over the world, many countries, they follow or practice traditional agriculture practice, or you can say shifting cultivation. In India also, we can see a number of tribal people who live in the forest, in the northeast, in the central part of India, and so on. Now number 5, if anyone asks you what do you mean by shifting agriculture, so you can easily express, or you can easily say, in shifting agriculture, parts of the forest is cleared. Cleared means cut down. Certain part of the forest is cut down inside the forest. The trees were burnt, or the trees which were cut down were burnt, and after that seeds are sown in ashes. Ash means after burning. So seeds are sown in ashes after the first monsoon rains. Once the monsoon starts, they will sow the seeds, and the crop is harvested by October. So the crop is harvested by October, November, and when the fertility of the soil decreases, After a few years, when the fertility of the soil decreases, after a few years, they move to new areas and continue the same practice. And this is done in rotation. After many years, they will come back to the same place and again do the same practice. So in this way, they do this shifting cultivation in rotation. So this will provide them food crops and livelihood, you can say that, in the forest. So these are, everything is done by this type of practice, is done by traditional practice, is done by local people who live in the forest or nearby the forest. So you can see there are 5 points. We have done this. In our next class, we will talk about colonizers' view about such practice. What did the colonizers think about this kind of practice? They must be thinking that, they must have thought that this type of practice will destroy the forest and they will not have any kind of timber. So it has to be stopped. Let's continue in our next class. Colonizers' view about such practices by the tribal people who live in the forest. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the next class and continue the lesson. So don't miss the classes. Thank you very much for your watching.